Order 21, Rule 58 of the Civil Procedure Code speaks about adjudication of claims of parties before the executing court. What is the nature and scope of this provision? Before the Amendment Act of 1976, normally the executing court used to deal with the investigation of claims and objections which came before it summarily. That means it used to not go into the matters in detail or fully investigate the matters. Therefore, the parties would be able to file another suit for that purpose. Here, after the Amendment Act of 1976, after the recommendation of the Law Commission, an amendment was passed, and now the code enacts that all questions, including questions of title, right or interest, are to be settled finally in the execution proceeding itself and not by a separate suit. What is the scheme of this provision? Where any property is attached in execution of a decree, always the parties or their representatives or any third parties may come before the court and raise an objection against such attachment on several grounds. If the objection is raised by the party or his representative, then it can be decided by the executing court itself under section 47 of the code, as we have already seen, and they need not file a separate suit for it. But when the objection is raised by a third party relating to the attachment of the property, then he has two options. First of all, he may directly file a suit claiming appropriate relief on that ground, or he can also file an application under Order 21, Rule 58 before the executing court itself, raising his objection and putting forth his claim relating to any matter. In such cases, when the application is filed under Rule 58, the executing court will entertain the claim or the objection from the objector, whoever is the third party, and then it will investigate fully into the claimant's rights, that is, whether he has a right or a title or interest, and whether whatever his claim is proper or not, and then it will record a finding either upholding his claim or the objection whatever he has raised, or the court may reject it. What is the manner of a determination of objection of the court? It is stated in Rule 58 subclause 3. It says that in accordance with the determination of the claim, the court shall either allow the claim and objection and release the property from attachment, either it may be released wholly or partly as it applies to the rights of that party, or the court may disallow the claim or objection, or the court may continue with the attachment subject to any interest in favor of any person. It may be a mortgage in favor of any person, or a person may be having a charge on that property. Subject to that charge or mortgage, the court may continue the attachment, or the court shall pass such order as it thinks fit. Here the word shall can be seen. That means once the court takes up the matter, it shall allow the claim or disallow the claim or continue the attachment or pass such order as it thinks fit. The proviso to this particular rule says that no claim or objection shall be entertained by the court where before that claim or objection was made, the property which was under attachment has already been sold. If the property has already been sold before the person comes before the court, then the court shall not look into that claim or objection. Then the only recourse is to file a separate suit. Where the court considers that the claim or objection was unnecessarily delayed, in such cases also the claim or objection shall not be entertained by the court. This is stated in the proviso. The object of this provision is to avoid continuous litigation by parties or protracted or continuing litigation by the parties, and also to investigate and settle all the claims by anybody finally in the execution proceedings itself. It also has the object to avoid a separate suit to be filed by the parties. So, when we look into section 47 and this rule 58 under order 21, what are the similarities between the two? Because here also the objections are raised before the executing court, and also under rule 58 the same has happened. So, the similarities can be looked into by seeing these provisions. First of all, we know that both the provisions relate to execution proceedings itself, and both section 47 and rule 58 of order 21 enact that all questions covered by them should be decided by the executing court itself. That means whatever is relating to the execution of the decree. Then both the provisions expressly bar filing of a separate suit. These are the similarities. What is the distinction between these two provisions? Firstly, section 47 applies to parties to the suit or their representatives. That means when the parties to the suit or their representatives have any objection or any question to be decided, that will be decided by the executing court. Under order 21 rule 58, it applies to third parties or their representatives. That means besides the parties, if any third party is having any objection, then he may file a application before the executing court. Secondly, section 47 not only bars a suit, but it also bars an appeal. That means it is not an appealable order. But order 21 rule 58 bars a suit, but it does not bar an appeal. The party has a right to go in appeal against that particular order. Then bar of suit under section 47 is absolute. It is unqualified. There is a total bar of the suit, and the parties, if they have any question relating to execution or discharge or satisfaction of the decree, it has to be decided by the executing court itself. But in order 21 rule 58, the bar is conditional. That means there is a option given to the party, either he may file a suit or he may come before the executing court and place his claims before the executing court. Now, who may apply for this particular provision? A person who at the time of attachment of the property was having some right, title or interest in that property which is attached in execution. He must be a third party. So, that person may apply against the attachment. Then where he has to apply? This claim petition can be filed in the court which has attached the property. So, whichever court has attached the property has the jurisdiction to decide the question. Or if there is a special statute and it confers the jurisdiction on a particular court itself, it says that such matters can be filed in a particular court itself, then the petition can be filed only in that court. For example, if there is a claim against a bank under the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, the petition can be filed only in the High Court. In such cases, the application lies only in the High Court and not in any other court. Then order 21 rule 58 sub clause 5 says that when a claim or objection is preferred and the court refuses to entertain it on the ground under the proviso to sub rule 1, that means it has been filed, whatever attachment has been done, suppose it has been already that has been sold, or it is not under the control of the parties. In that case, the court refuses, or if there is a delay. So, where it is refused by the court, then it is open to the aggrieved party to file a suit separately and establish his right. That means it is not barred. Then there is an appeal. An order passed by the executing court in adjudication of claims and objections shall have the same force as if it was a decree. That means as it is a decree, it is also subject to the same conditions as to appeal. So, we see that adjudication of claims and objections to attachment of property can be entertained by the executing court under order 21 rule 58, so that the claims can be settled finally between the parties, that is those parties who were not party to the suit, and it can avoid further litigation. So, we can say that order 21 rule 58 further prolongs or further extends the power of the executing court, after even when we say that the parties can approach the executing court under section 47. This rule 58 again deals with the parties who are not parties to the suit and who come before the executing court. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you have liked it, please share it with anyone who you think would be interested. Please leave your comments and I would be happy to reply to them. Do subscribe to get more information on everyday law and legal studies. Thank you.